Well, I think early in the day, someone asked me a similar question, and I said that one of the reasons that I came to the conclusion, among many, to say yes to President-elect Trump when he asked me to do this, is in my conversations with him on the subject we have discussed, he's been very open and inviting of hearing my views and respectful of those views.
And that's why I asked you about whether Vladimir Putin was a war criminal, something that you declined to label him as. I asked about China, whether they were one of the worst human rights violators in the world, which, again, you didn't want to compare them to other countries. I asked about the killings in the Philippines. I asked about Saudi Arabia being a human rights violator, which you also declined to label them. And the reason was not because I was trying to get you involved in the name of international name-calling, but for the sake of name-calling, but because in order to have moral clarity, we need clarity. We can't achieve moral clarity with rhetorical ambiguity.
Is it somewhat of a disadvantage?
For those people, those 1,400 people in jail in China, those dissidents in Cuba, the girls that want to drive and go to school, they look to the United States. They look to us, and often to the Secretary of State. And when they see the United States is not prepared to stand up and say, yes, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal, Saudi Arabia violates human rights, we deal with these countries because they have the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet, because China is the second largest economy in the world, because Saudi Arabia is a strategic partner in what's happening in the Middle East. But we still condemn what they do. It demoralizes these people all over the world. And it leads people to conclude this, which is damaging, and it hurt us during the Cold War, and that is this: America cares about democracy and freedom as long as it's not being violated by someone that they need for something else. That cannot be who we are in the 21st century. We need a Secretary of State that will fight for these principles.
Do you disagree with the President-elect that it wouldn't be a bad thing for us if Japan and South Korea and Saudi Arabia acquired nuclear weapons?
I think the priority has to be to deny North Korea the ability to deploy its nuclear weapons.
What about Saudi Arabia and South Korea?
Senator Paul, please.